Right now it's 5:42 this morning. If you're craving a cup of joe on your way to work, a local coffee roaster says stop on in.
Yeah, so right now, Julie live and local at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Julie, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. Yeah, this morning, fresh coffee. We've got Claire here with us. She's kind of the boss of the coffee here at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Is that right?
Brandon's the boss of the coffee.
Okay.
He is the head roaster. I just help in tasting, sourcing, and quality assurance.
See, that's my idea of a boss. You just like hang out, you taste.
I mean, if
things.
anybody wants to call me a boss, sure, why not?
Okay,
Yeah.
boss. Coffee cupping. Yesterday when I was talking to Brandon, the owner, he had said, have you ever done coffee cupping? I was like, not only have I never done it, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
So before us, we have some coffee grounds. What is coffee cupping?
Coffee cupping is a industry standard that we use to assess the quality of the coffee, the quality of the roast, and just decide generally how we want to source coffee.
Okay.
So we use it across, like I said, to assess many different standards. If we're doing it just in-house, we do all of our production roasts, that we taste it just to make sure that everything tastes good. If we're getting it from a new importer or a new farmer, we're tasting it to figure out what type of coffee we want to get from them.
Really quality control here. I don't know if
Yeah.
you get that, and maybe I'm speaking out of turn here, like chain coffee restaurants where they're like, all right, today's the day when we taste test and make sure it doesn't taste like dookie.
They have it on a much larger scale,
Yeah.
but we do it for every batch, every roast that we do out of our roastery. We don't do it in the cafes, but we're doing it in the cafe today to just show people what we do behind the scenes.
Yeah. Okay, information up on your screen right now for Switchback Coffee Roasters this morning. Okay, come back out to us because this action is about to get good at 5:40 in the morning. So what are we doing here, Claire? And what do we have? What's all this?
Yeah, so here's going to be 3 coffees that we're getting from our importing partners over at Samaria Coffee. Here we have an SJ Heirloom coffee. It's from Colombia. All 3 coffees are from Colombia. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick cupping procedure. We'll bend down and we'll sniff it.
Oh, okay.
Yep, and you can bend down and sniff your other one.
Okay. I don't want to say it has like a sweet floral note because that seems wrong.
That's exactly accurate.
Is that really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got a new job as a coffee sniffer.
So these 2 are actually 2 natural coffees. And so natural refers to the processing, but they both smell very different. They're both natural processed. They're both from the same region, from our same importing partner. 2 separate farms, and it just shows you how different these things can be.
So what do you do next? I've got about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Well, less than that.
So after we sniff each one, what we're going to do is we're going to take our hot water, and then we're going to pour it on top of these coffee grounds.
And then you let it set for like 14 minutes or so,
We'll let it sit for 4 minutes, and then we'll talk about breaking the crust, smelling the aromas.
Okay. Everybody's going to be official, what word am I looking for? A really good coffee connoisseur after this. Okay. Craig, Abby, sending it back to you at 6:20. We are going to taste our coffee cupping creation.
Yes.
CCC, if you will.
Okay, waking up smelling the coffee. So coffee cupping is you bend down and you smell it.
Yeah, and I think what you were saying is you probably don't want to pick it up and smell it because your hands probably have some odors.
Probably.
Right.
Who knows where your
Who knows where the hands have been?
Right.
Hey, Ted, their goal was to elevate specialty coffee in Southern Colorado.
Okay, so right now, Julie is doing some amazing things live and local at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Good morning. We're going to break the seal right now, I think, right?
Whoa.
Breaking the crust of the coffee,
crust.
right,
Yeah,
Claire?
yeah.
I'm thinking about
Okay,
it.
so breaking the crust, which is not a term that I was familiar with prior to this morning. In fact, about 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, so it's just a part of the coffee cupping process.
So basically, we had the coffee in there. We
Yep.
added the hot water.
Yep.
We let it sit.
Yep.
And now we're gonna break the crust. Let's get right to it.
Yeah,
Okay, we're gonna
so
grab
I'm
our
gonna
spoon.
give you this spoon.
Thank you.
And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the bottom of our spoon and we're gonna smell.
Does it smell right?
Yes. It smells great. So it releases some aromatics, and then you're just gonna dip your spoon into there.
And this breaks the barrier to where the coffee will
Yep,
sink
it
to
allows the
bottom.
coffee to sink to the bottom. I'm gonna squeeze behind you.
Okay, and you're gonna do the other
and then I'm gonna do another one here.
Okay, and all of these, let's talk about your sourcing of your beans, like where you guys get all this stuff.
Yeah, so all 3 of these coffees are going to be from our partners over at Samaria Coffee. They own some farms in Colombia, and then they also have a direct relationship with us to send out their coffee that they're growing and producing on a few different farms out in Colombia.
Brandon was telling me, the owner, that you guys have a few men who come in every morning and have a little coffee club. Are they getting ready to walk the door right now?
They sure are.
These are the guys the
Yeah.
regulars are in. Okay, so we've broken the crust. We've sniffed the coffee.
Yeah.
And we have different flavors. You do this for quality control reasons.
Yeah, so as we're breaking the crust, we're essentially smelling all the, like I said, the volatile aromatics that come out. We want to make sure that we roasted it correctly, and that's breaking of the crust. That helps us figure that one out. And then it settles all the coffee to the bottom so that when you and I taste it, we don't slurp a ton of
don't get a
coffee
little crunchy
grounds. Yes,
situation.
exactly. So this is all for coffee control. It's all for us to just figure out what the coffee has to tell us.
Yeah.
Because, when we're putting tasting notes on the bag, we're not trying to, make up anything that isn't there. We just want to say, what does the coffee taste like and what are we trying to communicate to our guests?
What the coffee tells you. Has it ever dropped words of wisdom or anything like that?
Often it drops words of anxiety if I've had too much.
Yes,
I
I was telling Brandon earlier, he's like, you want some coffee? I was like, no, I have a morning routine. I've already had a cup, but I know we'll be sipping throughout the morning. And if I have too much, my brain will go to yapping about everything I've ever said. So now that we've broken the crust, we let it set for a little bit, and then we taste test, which we're going to do right around the 6:40 time. So I know y'all are excited about that.
Yeah.
And so we've done this. It'll settle.
It'll settle, yeah. And then, like I said, all this is trying to do is we're just trying to figure out what the coffee is trying to tell us, how we want to taste it, how we want to communicate it to guests, so that people know what quality we're putting out there. Each cup of coffee that you drink probably has about thousands of hours that go into it behind the scenes.
Thousands of hours, Craig and Abby. What is your cup of coffee telling you this morning?
I need one.
We got to break the crust and find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say, go get one.
I love that. I've never heard that before.
No.
That's a whole new technique and a whole new way of.
We are learning a lot.
We are.
To work or to the incline, a local coffee roaster says stop on in.
Here right now, Julie, live and local at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Julie, fresh off her lunch. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. Yeah, they just got into fresh baked goods from Provision Bakery into Switchback Coffee Roasters, but that's not what we're here for. We're here to taste test the coffee that's in. Claire, we've broken the crust.
Yes.
We've got the crunchy parts out.
We've gotten the crunchy parts
And you
out.
told me that there's a very specific way to do this. You guys taste test weekly?
We taste test after every production day.
Okay.
So twice a week, we cup every single roast that we make, just to make sure that the roast was good and that our coffee is still tasting the way we want it to.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to just dip our spoon in lightly,
Okay.
and then we're just going to sip as loud as we can.
Tastes like coffee.
It does. And then you're going to dip your spoon just in a little bit of water there, and then you can try the next one.
Okay, what's this
Yep.
next one here? And where do you get your beans?
Yeah, so this one over here is going to be our Pink Bourbon. This is our Columbia coffee. All of them are going to be Columbias. This one is a natural process, so you see it's a little funky.
Yeah. It's got a little bit of a bitter end to it, but not, it's like what you kind of expect.
Yeah,
with white coffee.
like you would for coffee.
But
And
there's
then,
like a floral note to it.
yeah, and the whole point of slurping is going to be so that you can taste all the aromatics, and then you can also kind of smell it as you're tasting it.
Oh, it's kind of like wine, where you're like, you swirl it around and you make
Exactly.
little noises with your mouth. So
Yeah.
this is almost like a wine tasting, but for coffee.
But for coffee, yeah.
Type
I mean,
situation.
like I said, a lot of coffee, a lot of people don't expect how many hours goes into coffee. Like I was saying, it's about like 3,000 hours that go into each cup of coffee before it even gets to your cafe. And again, people expect to have all this QC for wine and they don't expect it for coffee, but here, local roasters all around our city and us, we taste every single thing that comes to our doors before we serve it to our community, and it really matters to taste everything.
Yeah, but because you are locally owned,
Yeah.
you are locally, you're literally right in the middle of the neighborhood. We're at Institute in Boulder there
Yeah.
at the corner, houses all around. So you really do want to be providing something that you guys have put a lot of work into,
Yeah.
a lot of effort. And the
Yeah.
effort is shown just by doing this.
We put a lot of work into it, but again, our producers put in so much more work before it hits us, and our job is just to take care of the product that they've already put so many hours into. So like this coffee, this is the Pink Bourbon, and it's a natural process.
Yeah.
The natural process takes a certain amount of hours. I believe this one is 370 hours, the Pink Bourbon.
70 hours, Craig and Abby. Can you believe that?
For the processing.
Okay, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, Craig Abby, 370 hours just on one end of it.
Yeah, Julie, do you know what is similar between the coffee industry and the news industry?
I'm going to walk into it. Proceed, Matt.
It's that the producers put in a lot more work ahead of the kind of main product, it's a lot like a newscast here. The producers do a lot more work.
Matt, our brains have synced because I was thinking that too as soon as she said producers. I was like, oh, it's like a newsroom.
That's right,
This
yeah.
is
There you go.
mine and yours brain this morning.
Yep, that's right. I am my own producer and
You
presenter,
are.
so I am working.
You do it all.
2010, their goal was to elevate specialty coffee in Southern Colorado.
We're doing a whole lot of stuff here, learning stuff this morning. Julie, live and local at Switchback Coffee Roasters with more. Hello, good morning.
Can I ask you guys a question that's not coffee related?
Okay.
Sure.
With this sweater and this cup of coffee, do I kind of look like a lady who sits seaside and throws bread to the birds? Like, I don't speak much, I read and I feed the birds.
And just pet your cat. And just sit there. Yes. That's okay, though.
Yeah.
It's a
that's
nice look. It looks
all right.
cozy.
I was just curious if you guys had an opinion on my attire. Like, oh, I do this to the neighbors' kids. Like, ugh. All right. Let's get to business, shall we? Brandon's here with us. We are literally tasting menu. We have a flight of coffee here in front of us. What is each of these and what's the importance of each?
Yeah, so each one of these is an expression of the coffee. You did all the cuppings earlier today, and you got to taste different types of coffees. So all of them are expressions. So everything from the drip coffee, that's just a great expression of just your coffee by itself. You can add your cream, do what you need to do. But these are kind of our different types of expressions of espresso beverages. So you start out with a cortado here, so equal parts milk and espresso, so 2 ounces, 2 ounces.
And look at the artwork that you're going to get here at Switchbacks.
So
Am I
it's
good to try
phenomenal.
this?
Yep, go for
Okay.
it. So you're going to get more of the espresso forward, but
Oh,
you
yeah.
still get a nice creamy texture and everything to it.
Can I be honest with you? I was telling you a few years ago I went to Italy and I had to learn what type of like how I liked my coffee.
Yeah,
I like it sweet.
that's fair.
So I think as we move up, I'll be like, oh, because the
Let's
milk's
go.
in
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay,
So you add a little bit more sweetness to the milk here. This is our cappuccino. Let's say our signature beverage. We love the cappuccino. A little bit extra milk, but the espresso still is fully forward.
Look
So
at
you'll be
the
able to
art.
taste all of that.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, you can taste the milk coming through.
And then finally, the latte, so you'd add just a little bit more milk. So trying to demystify coffee, right? You hear all these words, cortado, cappuccino, latte. What do all those things mean? In a specialty space, there's just one size for each of those, right? So it's cortado, add a little bit more milk. Cappuccino, add a little bit more milk. You got your latte.
The bigger the cup, the more the milk.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and of course, milk has a natural sweetness if it's steamed properly.
Oh, yeah.
And so that means it'll just be sweet in and of itself.
This is good.
We make all of our syrups in house. You're also welcome, to add those as well.
What kind of syrups you got? What's the syrup situation?
So primarily we do a brown sugar syrup,
Okay.
a vanilla syrup. Those are probably the two that we love. We also have a honey syrup, so that way, if you're not a fan of sugar, we've got a honey option for you.
Yeah.
Honey lavender as well.
Honey
and then we
lavender.
also have a really fun banana syrup that we're doing right now,
And that's-
kind of for a special
I'm fascinated
season.
by the idea of a banana syrup, and I know that you do like a latte with it. I saw
Yep.
over there, which
Yep.
is pretty popular.
We try to rotate things with seasonality.
Yeah.
So we want to just have different things. Usually quarterly, we switch that up so that you can kind of have a little bit of a different flavor expression with your latte.
Flavor expression. I like that we call it a coffee flavor expression because that sounds way better than venti mocha latte with extra sugar. I don't know if that's what I would order. Craig and Abby.
Gotta have the coffee expression.
It's a whole thing.
It
It's
is.
science.
It is. I didn't know that. The bigger the cup, the more the milk.
I know.
This is my coffee expression.
Yes. Oh, yes. Lovely. All right.
Kids,
Thanks, Julie.
get
Time
off
now.
my oceanfront property.
Live and local doing a whole lot this morning, showing us more at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Good
Boy, you
morning.
get messy, bite into everything.
Good morning. The best part of waking up is going to your local coffee shop and supporting your local business owners. Isn't that right?
Yep.
Okay, we've been showing you a variety of coffees, in particular how they source their coffee, how they taste test their coffee before it gets to you here at Switchback Coffee Roasters. Now we're on to this part, the food. And Brandon, there's been a rumbling in my tummy.
Well, this
What do
is
we
a good
have-
place to do
I
that.
know.
yeah.
What do we have before us?
So we have ready to go, grab and go like breakfast sandwiches, stuff like that you can grab and go. Also, of course, some really delightful pastries from Provision Bread and Bakery.
What's on this bad boy?
So
Look at
that is a strawberry jam and a cream cheese Danish. So
I just know Matt
absolutely
Meister's
phenomenal.
trying to place an order
But
right
also,
now.
we have some really great things. If you wait just a couple of minutes, we've got a breakfast sandwich here that we make. It's on a sourdough bagel, also from Provision Bread and Bakery. There's an uncured Nyman Ranch ham, great egg, green chilies, of course, because it's
Yeah.
Colorado.
Where do you get your ham from? I know that
so-
something that's really important to you as a business owner.
Yeah,
is that
so
you
we try to
support
source
local.
as many
Yeah.
things as we can. So Nyman Ranch is a little bit more of a regional. Some of the farms are in Colorado.
Okay.
But again, primarily an uncured ham that's just, no additives, things like that.
Yeah.
So it's just really
Can I
simple.
lift up the bun?
You are welcome to.
Okay,
Yeah.
look at
Green
that.
chilies, egg. So that one we make, whenever you come in and order.
Okay.
But then our avocado toast is probably one of our signatures. Fresh mash we make every day. We make both of these, an herb sauce, a honey sriracha, microgreens from a local farm here, Alchemy Greens, and then also some really delightful potatoes. So it's kind of got that mix,
Oh, it's
a little
got
bit
a
of pickled
potato
onions.
situation on
That's
there?
right.
Ooh, I'd really tear up.
So dive in.
Okay, I asked you how fancy I had to eat this, and you didn't respond. So I'm
No,
gonna try
don't be fancy. Just
okay.
get in there.
All right,
you
I'm
know?
going to try to be somewhat fancy because someone undoubtedly is going to write an email saying Julie was eating avocado toast
That's right.
this morning on TV and she was so unladylike.
So
Okay, I'm not very good at cutting. This is
Just
why
go crazy.
When I
So
go
this is
home,
on-
my dad still cuts my steak. Can you believe that?
that's fine. So this is on one of the loaves, the country loaf that specifically
Okay.
from Provision Bread Bakery.
Which sauce should I try
So
with?
dive into both. If you like a little bit of spice, that honey sriracha is good. Or, be a little less fancy, but I think this is the way to
Whoa.
go. Let's just get crazy with this.
Okay, I'm going to do a little on this side.
So,
That sauce is incredible. What's in it?
yeah, so it's an herb sauce. It's parsley based, a little bit of garlic, actually some capers for a little bit of that salt underneath. So it's kind of a really fun sauce that we have there.
That
So-
honey sriracha is delicious too.
Yeah, the honey actually is also local, so we try to do as many of those things as we can. Obviously, rotating with seasonality. We're in the time of Colorado where there's really not much that you can get seasonally right now,
Okay.
but it's really important to us.
Yeah, I know that's something that's important over at Provision too, which is of course where you get a lot of your baked stuff. Matt Meister, what's your request?
Julie,
I just know you're going to send me a text and say, hey, bring me one of those.
Stop. Listen, my request is that you learn how to use a knife and fork. You looked worse than when, my kids
No.
were 3 trying to learn that. What technique was that?
Nope. Don't worry about it. I just told you, I grew up on a cattle farm, so we always had fresh steak. And to this day, when I go home, my dad will cut my steak for me because I look foolish.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yes.
If I go on a date, I'm not ordering a steak. You know what I mean? Because it'll be an instant, no second
Cheers
date.
to
It's not
that.
going to
It looks
happen.
foolish.
I always get something that I know I can
No,
cut with a fork.
The other way,
That is rude. Rude.
I mean, we're like, what is she doing?
This is why I eat with my hands.
Well, hey, that would have been
That's all
better.
I
did.
The guy was
Beforehand,
trying
I'm
to
not good at
tell you
cutting
to eat with
things.
your hands, and you're like, nah. All right, let's get to the forecast.
Specialty coffee in southern Colorado.
That's right, and right now, Julie live and local at Switchback Coffee Roasters, teaching
wife
us
cannot
so
take a
much
nap to
more.
save her
Julie,
life.
good morning.
Do you guys feel really well educated on coffee now?
Yes.
Yeah.
We've learned so much.
All right. Okay, thank you. The crowd goes mild. Okay, we've been eating this morning. You guys made fun of me for how I cut my avocado toast, but I wasn't just going to shove it in my mouth. I'm trying to be classier. My friend one time, you'll like this, she said, Julie, you should take an etiquette class. And I was like, oh, did you take one? She said, no, I didn't. You should, though.
That's
So
so
I'm trying to be a classier later. Okay, the price of a cup of Joe.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so prices are increasing, right? And that's just kind of inevitable. We know about inflation and all the other things that are going on. But I mean, the reality is for farmers, it's been really tricky, through various environmental things and everything. The coffee prices have just gone up exponentially. I don't know if you know, but farmers only expect to make money 2 of every 6 years.
Oh, I grew up on a farm, and it was, the margins are thin for the labor that you do.
It's insane. So the average age of farmers right now in the world, 65. So the thing is, we've lost out on the kids of those farmers already. They've gone into other industries. And so we have to pay more in order to sustain farms.
And something that's really important to you here at Switchbacks, and I know you own Provision as well, is locally sourcing as much as you can because you want to do your part as a local business owner to support
Yep.
those farmers and the work they do.
Yeah, so totally with the local sources, but also having direct relationships with farms with coffee as well. So that's been something that's been a value of Switchback for many, many years, is trying to work directly with the farmers. So I can know exactly what the import fees are, the export fees are, how much actually is going back to the farmer. There's not a lot of brokers in between that are making money off of those farmers, and just trying to pay them as much as we possibly can.
Yeah. So if you come here, everything's gone up a little bit. You'll see a little bit of an increase for your cup of coffee, but good causes it's helping.
Yeah, and good coffee is worth that. I mean, the thing is, what's been tricky, I mean, I've been now roasting coffee for 15 years, is that people are unwilling to pay a little bit more for coffee. They'll pay 3 times as much for a cocktail at night, but they're unwilling to pay that little bit more for coffee. For some reason, we have a stigma for how much that we're willing to pay for an excellent product. But the thing is, like, if we can keep increasing that, then baristas can make better wages, and then we can do better things with that. Like coffee shops, like our margins are the lowest of F&B business, and F&B business is really hard anyway. And so, man, if we just do a little bit more
Food
for
and
those kind of
beverage.
things, yeah,
That just clicked.
there it is, yeah.
I was like, F&B, what is
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if we just pay a little bit more, then it actually makes coffee shops sustainable, because everybody wants to hang out at a coffee shop.
I know. Switch Mix is really cool. We're at Institute in Boulder, and it's just like a cool vibe. Come in here, there's a lot of people on their laptop. They've got their cup of coffee going at it. You guys also have food, which we've been talking about throughout the morning, that you bring in from Provision Bakery. You make stuff here in-house. I gotta finish this cup of joe and run across town. So we're gonna send it back to you in the studio. This, by the way, I put some of the brown sugar syrup in it. Oh, masterpiece.
I'm just drinking the Keurig
Straight-
coffee, and
straight Keurig.
it's not hitting like that coffee.
No? Doesn't
I
do
mean,
the trick for you?
it does the job, but I'd rather have what she's having.